Oh my gosh, yo. Oh, what's up, everybody? I cannot fucking stand OBS. I promise you, I cannot. Give me. Oh, okay, well, I don't know why the camera's working here. But what's up, chat? Never mind. You said, hope you're feeling better. I am feeling much better. What's good, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's going on, man?
This is culturally
Thursday.
inappropriate.
Happy Thursday. I hope. Oh, wait, hold on. I hear an echo. I hope everybody's week has been going great. I'm just happy that it's Thursday, almost Friday, man. I hope everybody's week has been going well. I cannot wait to get into today's video because I know it's going to be some bullshit. Have to mentally prepare myself, man. I feel like I'm about to crash out. But y'all like when I crash out for whatever reason. I don't know why. You guys love to see me suffer. But what's up, Chantel? What's up, Track? Leo, Asura, Blue Eagle. What up, Twin? That's my evil twin. What up, Brandon? Misfortune, Sandy, Goat, Leo, Zeno, my guy. What's up? Let me see. What's up, wife? Let me see here. Kadian, I have no idea who you are, but my wife is in here, so just keep that in mind. Yo, what's up, Random University? Yes, yo, guys, real quick. So I am almost at 19K. I'm almost at 19K. I'm trying to get to 20K. I said by the end of the year, but I know I'm probably going to hit it at the end or at the end of October, at the beginning of November. So please make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe. Kadian, you good. You did not know. You didn't know. I was just telling you. I know you didn't mean no disrespect. I appreciate you for being in here, though. Damn. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Scally. What's good, Scally? Shout out to Scally for the $5 super chat, man. I appreciate you. Said, what's good, my man? You're going to enjoy this. Man said more lies than Charlie Kirk. Honestly, it made me crash out a little, so you'll do the same. God damn it, man. Damn it. Oh, I was hoping it wouldn't be that bad, but it's Steven Crowder. I mean, all right. Should we just rip the Band-Aid off, guys? Let's get into it. Jesus Christ, God damn it. All right, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. Let's watch.
Heard of the term black fatigue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys know what that means?
Since the last time you came, that's become a thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's just become a recent thing.
Oh, he's been there before. Also, real quick, this is one thing that I do not like about these conversations. I hate, because everybody wants to applaud people like Charlie Kirk and Myron for going out into the public and just debating people, right? But I actually hate that, because a lot of these people are talking to regular people that do not know much about politics. Like, these people are not well equipped to have these discussions, to have these arguments. So I hate the fact that they do this. And when they win these, or if it looks like that they win these debates, they're like, oh yeah, see, like, these guys were wrong. I was right. It just, I hate it. I hate it so much. Anyway.
And do you know what it means?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm going to ask that.
White people are 12 times as likely to be killed by a black person than the other way around. I'm just going to
You's a lying motherfucker. Oh my gosh. You lying. You lying already. You are lying. Huh? Where are you getting these statistics from? You are a liar. That's not true. Guys, how many times have I said that when it comes to crime, it is intraracial, meaning white people do things to white people and black people do things to black people, because we commit crime in proximity. What are you talking about? He just pulled that statistic out of his ass. That's actually not true.
shoot you straight. It's not even close.
Where?
across the country.
Ain't nobody coming after you. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody tripping on you and but these people in
Random. We weren't even 25 seconds in, bro.
just as scared as the other folks that
They are if they get on a bus.
Not necessarily.
They are if they get on a train.
That lady wasn't in danger because that man was black. That lady was in danger because that man was crazy.
Nope.
Whenever we want to ask for equality and fairness, it's a problem. So white America.
What do you mean, no? Oh my God. Okay.
It's been several $1 trillion. When is it enough?
Where's the bird?
No.
Where's the bird?
You're not the bird.
stopping white America from doing anything.
You know what? The
they wanna
bird just
do.
burned down $4 billion worth of
No,
cities
the
and
bird ain't burned
60,000
down.
assaults.
No.
Does 3 times to 4 times as much homework than the black kid, and the white kid does 2
Conditioning.
to 3. Why?
Because it's culturally, it's conditioned.
Exactly.
So why is it better parenting from Asians than white
And then we
parents?
come
Why?
back-
You said what?
Well, we're just having real talk. Why do young black men fight in packs?
What is he talking about? Huh? Oh my God. What the fuck is he? What are you talking about? And he's talking about this like these are facts. Why do young Blue Eagle said cuz we dogs. Oh my God. Okay, yep, it's gonna be one of them. It's gonna be one of them.
So a couple of years ago, when I started Black and White on the gray issues, I sensed some growing discontent, or more of a racial divide in America than I'd experienced in my lifetime, and it seemed to be
Very true,
egged
Brandon.
on by legacy media.
Very true.
It's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
The American people have felt safe in their home.
People who had absolutely no chance of victory.
Hate and racism towards black and brown people.
And as that evolved, and for the first time I walked into Stevie J's Barbershop, I really was looking to sit down and talk with, but mainly listen to real black Americans living the real American black experience to see whether they shared the viewpoints of a lot of the public representatives.
Get the fuck out of here. You're going there for clips. You're going there just to get gotcha moments. You're not trying to have genuine conversations, because if you were, you wouldn't come into this barbershop fucking lying.
Now networkless Joy Reids of the world, or back then the Don Lemons, what they wanted me to believe.
I realized that CNN and MSNBC were full of shit.
And overall, it was a largely warm, productive conversation. I think served its purpose. You can go check out that video to see what it was like. Fast forward to now, and not only have things not really improved. Wow. And according to many Americans, they're markedly worse. And if listening is important, I noticed that a lot of white Americans felt pushed to a point that they weren't even fully comfortable expressing. But for the most part, when they did, their communication was pretty restrained. Then it was dialed up to near boiling point with the recent cold-blooded murder of Irina Zarutska.
The unthinkable happens. You see Brown pull out what officials say was a pocket knife. He unfolds it, then stands up behind Zarutska. What we aren't showing you is the moment where Brown then stabs Zarutska several times and walks.
When are we going to stop acting like that was a race thing? The man was fucking crazy. He was crazy.
Away.
And that murder taking place at the hands of a black man who was arrested at least 14 times and released largely in the name of racial justice.
Bullshit. Oh my God, that is actual bullshit. So please look up this guy, and look up why he was arrested. I forgot the specific reasons, but there were legitimate reasons as to why he was arrested and why he was let go some of those times as well. I ain't gonna lie, obviously 14 times is crazy, but also the man has a mental problem. He has a mental issue. This is not a black and white issue. This is also on the city of Charlotte. They need to regulate the goddamn light rail. It's not regulated. They need to regulate it. You could literally just hop on that bitch when you're supposed to pay.
A reaction from white Americans that frankly is unsurprising. And truth be told, for young, white Americans is understandable, and it would be doing America no favors to completely ignore the discontent of young white Americans who, if you listen to them, definitely will make the case that they have been vilified and asked to foot the...
This is all so fucking disingenuous, and I'm so sorry. I hate that there are a lot of white people out here that are trying to act like they're victimized. Like, how? Because if we're being honest, a lot of this is coming from a bunch of white people on Twitter that are upset because they're getting vilified because they want to say the N-word with the hard ER. Like, let's call a spade, bro. You don't like being called a fucking racist when you are being racist. You just want to be racist without there being zero consequences.
Bill for original sin or crimes that they've never committed.
They owe each of us $300K. So I don't care how they get the money. That's not my problem. I just want my money. A debt is owed. You owe a debt. You have to pay it.
And if you marginalize that entire segment, that voice of the country, that will lead to quote-unquote radicalization. And if this country wants to avoid that, or at the very least, as we've done in the past, understand that there needs to be a major course correction in the approach to communication.
How long is this intro? Jesus, okay.
That needs to go both ways. And that's why this time, I didn't visit the barbershop merely to listen, but to communicate a very real set of grievances that could bubble into massive consequences. This one goes a little bit of a different direction compared to last time. This is black and white on the gray issue.
You know what? He got one of those faces that you just want to fucking hit. Like, when people just got one of them faces, his face looks mad punchable. Like, you just want to give him just one right there in the suck hole, you know? Ugh.
And that's Stevie right there, the blue shirt.
Blue shirt? Oh,
Yes,
Steven.
sir.
I met Cedric. I think I scared him. I think he was...
How you doing, man?
Hey,
Doing all right?
Yeah, man. How you doing? Good to see you. I need it. You guys all have your beards nice and right. I've never learned how to do this shit.
It's because people come here.
Yes.
Oh, I see what it is. It's a power move. You have me sitting lower.
Yeah, so we can all look down on you.
Well, thanks. They said you guys got some people coming in here after the last one?
Yeah, a couple people came
They just
through.
felt like, I think this is the place where white and black people have conversations.
So it was funny. The first person that came last time was he said this out of his own mouth. He was like, I'm Indian, but he had on a MAGA hat. Okay. And he walked in and was like, hey, I saw you guys on Crowder. Can I get a cut here? Yeah, I guess so, man. Come on.
Did you have your hand?
I will say, for an Indian dude to come in there with a fucking MAGA hat and ask for a haircut, you got some balls, that's for sure. But look, black people ain't gonna turn down no goddamn money. Let's be honest here. Everybody's money is green. I damn sure ain't gonna turn down money.
On your piece, you're like, I don't know.
Nah, because he didn't come like that. He didn't have the backpack and the ski mask on. Yeah, he didn't have that on.
Was he nice? Was he good?
He's cool.
Yeah. What do you guys think, like, when you see someone with a MAGA hat? Because I know we were kind of talking about that last time.
It depends on how they present themselves. To me.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, okay. So, like, what would present themselves in a way that would be like decent versus piece of shit?
Yeah. How some people carry that air of superiority.
Yeah.
And if you present that to me, I'm very conscious of that. If you present that to me, I'm gonna respond appropriately.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's just me personally.
What would be like an air of superiority, like?
Just like.
Okay, first off, let me answer this correctly. So if you come into my establishment with a MAGA hat on, right? I'm not gonna say anything. Am I gonna think that's weird? Yes, because I mean, if we're being honest, the entire MAGA movement and like the merch and memorabilia, I think it's fucking weird. Shout out to From Downtown for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. He said, these are the worst types of dudes, ones that tell lies and know what they're saying is lies, but continue to tell lies for popularity and money. Facts. I couldn't agree more. Appreciate you from downtown. What was I saying? Right. So if somebody comes in with a MAGA hat, I'm not going to be overly aggressive. I obviously know where your political stances are, but for me personally, if you come into a black barbershop with a MAGA hat on, at first, I am going to just assume that you are there to start trouble because you know what that hat means. You know what that hat means. So I'm going to assume that you're going to start trouble, but I'm not going to have an aggressive type of energy towards you unless you give it to me. But I am going to assume that you are going to behave a type of way, because people that wear that hat out in public, they are looking for a reaction. They're not wearing it because they're proud, proud MAGA supporters, and that's not it. They just want a fucking reaction.
Certain things you say in conversation, and like you said, just in the physical nature of these chairs. Well, in conversation, you can physically go up and down and put yourself above or beneath. So when people do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually, when I do the change my minds and sit with people, I actually kind of slump my shoulders and deliberately kind of make myself smaller, just to not, it's like, what is it, the crab that has the red under its claws?
Oh shit, Shinakuma in here. What's up, man? You were a fucking monster in Capcom versus SNK 2.
Showing danger. So I don't wear red, because apparently that signifies poison, but yeah, no.
What? No, red is just an aggressive color. Shout out to Alejandro 305 with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for exposing Stevie Knight. I used to like him, but after he said kids don't deserve free lunches, I lost a lot of respect. He's out of touch. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody that says kids do not deserve free lunches are, they're fucking stupid and they do not care. Well, he said he could care less, so there's that. Appreciate you.
There's all these body language experts now. You watching TV, and this seems like horse shit. Like, he looks to the left so you can tell he's lying.
Yeah, some of it is horse.
I saw him on camera. He killed his girlfriend with a butter dish. I don't give a shit what he says.
He took too long to say.
Shout out to Scally for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I just want to point out that he says blacks are the problem, yet is in a black barbershop with black men and in probably a black neighborhood. Exactly. I am so curious to see how this conversation is going to go.
That answer, he had to think about it. No, he's thinking about what he wants to say.
Yeah.
He don't just spit out. He wants to think about what he's saying.
Last time we talked, we were kind of just, and the reason was just like, often you see in news, people just kind of siphon themselves off right into an echo chamber. And I thought it was good. We were just kind of able to see other perspectives. Where do you think the country...
For him to fucking say that is insane.
...is now? Like with that? Like...
Is that an open question? Or?
Yeah, race relations between... Because last time I wanted to get your perspective, and there's a perspective now in the white community. None of us are an ambassador for the entire community, but things have changed quite a bit the last year and a half. Temperatures have...
Shout out to Woman for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. What up, Watts Thoughts? I'm so interested to see how calm his energy is right now as opposed to his other videos. That's true. That is very true, because from what I've seen of Matt, I called him Matt Walsh, gosh, all these guys are starting to... They're starting to blend into each other. But yeah, Steven Crowder can sometimes be a little abrasive, aggressive. But I notice when he's talking to other people, he's generally a little calmer. At least as of late. I don't know.
Have gone up. But what do you guys think? What do you think we are in the country?
I'd like to chime in on that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you asked that question. There are a lot of social and economic dynamics at play that have certainly gone, in my opinion, in the wrong direction. I don't think that people really understand the gravity of where we're headed. We are vastly sliding into an autocratic regime here. And absolutely, I'll give you several reasons. You see, in order to have, you can't have a one-dimensional approach when you're wanting to continue to lead from a global perspective, all right? What you see here today is an isolationism approach which has never worked in the past because we don't have an understanding of geography and history, all right? And I'll just simply close by saying you got to understand something. The rest of the world is grossly infuriated with the way America has taken shape. And not only that, we're ceding all our best opportunities.
Damn, shout out from downtown with the $20 super chat, man.
This is culturally inappropriate.
I appreciate you from downtown. Damn, he said, man, these type of people I used to scare me when I was a kid. I grew up watching movies like Mississippi Burning, AMD, Rosewood, but that fear grew into revenge. And now I just hate the dumbass looks on their stupid looking faces. I hear you, man. Shout out to you for the $20 super chat, bro. I can't say thank you enough. I appreciate it. Also, shout out to the 94 people in here. God damn. Thank you guys.
To China, right? Look around you in the relationships they're fostering with everybody else, which includes Canada, Mexico, and they've even gone as far down into the Latin American corridor, fortifying their bases while we're still hollering that we're the greatest.
You talking about China, like in the Panama Canal?
Not just the Panama Canal. Let's pivot from the Panama Canal and let's look at the long-term strategy they have now, where they just signed an agreement with Mexico to build another canal bypassing the Panama Canal. And when you look at the whole transatlantic corridor, where you got now Brazil and Canada as well as Mexico.
Okay, he's getting really deep into this. I didn't think he was gonna go this deep. Damn, right?
And they stopping in Peru, where China has a huge presence at, circumventing completely the navigation, the use that comes with having to use the Panama Canal. So we'll avoid conflict with America and just simply go around America is what's happening here.
Talking about China?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want to agree with the first part, autocratic. I think China needs to be dealt with, and this is the first time we are. I'm Canadian. Well, I was raised in Canada. Canada sucks. Canada is a dog shit country. Canada, the kind of shit we're doing right, you can't do this in Canada. If you say something too offensive or I say something too offensive, you will be jailed in Canada.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. So I'm fine with the U.S. being the best country. I came here from Canada because, I mean, I have friends who were arrested. I had a friend, stand-up comic, was fined for telling a joke. I don't think people realize how good we have it here in this country compared to other countries.
But that's the painstaking part about it all, is the fact that, you know, I've always been one to say, and I believe.
But you know what? My issue with the First Amendment today is that for some reason it's like people really do not understand the First Amendment. People think you can say whatever the fuck you want to say without having some sort of consequence. Yes. You will not go to jail, but it doesn't necessarily mean you get to keep your job. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you won't get punched in the fucking face, okay? You can say something, but you are still going to face consequences afterwards. That's what people do not understand. When I say people, I mean most or a lot of people on the right side of the political spectrum. Okay, there are consequences to your actions, and they don't fucking get that for some reason. I don't understand why they don't understand.
This firmly. Freedom is not a right. It's a privilege until you wake up the next morning and find out you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. It also comes with duties.
That's what I was about to say. It also comes with responsibilities, because while we free to speak and say what we want, and I went to Montreal a few months ago, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bet you saw a lot of tits on signs. That's all it is.
No, I didn't.
It's just strip clubs. Our Times Square is a giant strip club.
It was a couple of them.
Yeah.
But no, like there is responsibility, and like everybody.
I don't know. I see a lot more people complain about it on the right than I do the left. Not to say that confusion doesn't happen on the left as well, but I see it more on the right. I haven't seen instances where liberals have said something crazy and then they're surprised when they get fired, you know?
It's from different.
The Charlie Kirk situation is a little different.
Places, different backgrounds. Some of us from certain backgrounds know, like, running your mouth too much in a certain space can get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
Like, you free to say what you want, you're just not free from the consequences. Like the consequences that come with you saying the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where we all have responsibilities in what we say and when we say it.
Yeah. The problem, though, too, and I was kind of talking more domestically, the problem with that idea is a lot of people are offended by different things. Mm-hmm. And so people get their ass whooped for something they didn't say, right? That's the real thing. I don't know if you guys were following the
example, please.
Stabbing there on that train in Charlotte, Irina Zarutska. Last time I was asking where you guys thought we were, as far as in the country relation. Like, have you guys heard of the term black fatigue? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys know what that means?
Since the last time you came, that's become a thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that's just become a recent thing.
And do you know what it means?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm going to ask that.
It's a term that's being used by people in the white community, by and large, again, saying they feel like they've been victimized and they're tired of taking that shit.
How? And keep in mind, Steven Crowder also used an example at the beginning of the video of that woman that called that child the N-word, that little black kid that I guess went in her purse. Apparently the kid with special needs. So he used her as an example. Shiloh, that was her name. She called the kid an N-word because he was going through her purse. It was a child, and she called him an N-word, and then I guess she got let go from her job, and she made a fucking GoFundMe and raised all this goddamn money because white people are just so sick of being, I guess, villainized by saying certain things. But you called a child the N-word with the hard ER. What the fuck did you expect to happen? You're not a good person, bro. Shout out to Christian Fields for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. People abuse and bastardize the First Amendment. Can't agree more.
That was a girl who was dying alone in public. And that was a guy who was let out 14 times. 14 times, including violent crimes in the name of racial justice, right? He didn't have to post bail. He didn't have to appear back in court. This is not the first time he's assaulted someone.
How do we know that was in the interest of racial justice as opposed to just being
because the judge said it.
A fucked up attempt at justice, period.
Yeah.
Like, the legal system has its flaws.
Yeah.
And people have been making complaints about that for decades, right? But that's just, to me, that's a mental health thing more than it's a black and white thing.
Well, I'll tell you why, because white people are saying it now.
Right.
Not just,
But why? The only reason as to why some white people are saying it is because the guy that stabbed her was black. There's literally no reason to believe that incident was racially motivated. And you cannot provide proof of that. You absolutely cannot. You cannot provide proof of that. That guy was obviously mentally ill.
White people are saying, hey, we're in
what makes it a bigger thing.
Well, because, I'm...
Also, real quick, shout out to the 100 people in here, man. I appreciate y'all.
This is culturally inappropriate.
Appreciate y'all. It's crazy that I'm starting to average 100, at least 100 viewers now. Like, this is insane.
White people are 12 times as likely to be killed by a black person than the other way around. I'm just going to shoot you straight. It's not even close.
One more time.
White people are saying it now.
Right.
Not just white people are saying, hey, we're in
what makes it a bigger thing.
Well, because, white people are 12 times as likely to be killed by a black person than the other way around.
That is not fucking true. That's not true at all. And for those of you that have just came in, I explained to the chat that when it comes to crime is usually interracial, meaning that white people commit crime against white people and black people commit crimes against black people because it's all within proximity. What he just said is a blatant fucking lie. And if you are going to say something like that, I need you to back up your source. That is an absolute lie, motherfucker. That is a lie. Bold-faced lie.
I'm just going to shoot you straight. It's not even close.
Where?
Across the country.
That's a lie.
The United States. I mean, we're not talking about Ghana.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, in white communities or in quote-unquote so-called white communities?
Across the country, the rate is a black man or person, because most murders men. There are very few female murders. 12 times more likely to kill a white person the other way around. And then you look at the average amount of times that someone in this country is arrested before they're brought in for killing, charged with murder. Do you know how many times they're arrested on average before they murder? 11 times.
Once again, the justice system's got its flaws, and people have been complaining about that for years. We spend more time trying to fix that than trying to complain about the white versus black of it all.
Well, I think, just like I was trying to listen to all communities last time, I think this is something that's unavoidable. If this community, if enough white people get pissed off, they're going, look, we're living in New York now, we're getting killed in record numbers, or Detroit, 12 times the rate. And our system, 3 strikes in California, right? That was a 3-strike policy. The reason that was changed, they said it was racist. Crime went down in black communities 30%. But now people are looking at their cities going, this is a fucking hellscape. And the murder is skyrocketed because people said in the name of racial justice, like 3 felonies, you're out.
Because crime is crime, right? But crime is usually going to be higher concentrated in areas where there's high poverty. So typically the areas that's high poverty in this country are areas with people with this color skin. So that's why you're going to have that. That's why I said those numbers could be skewed.
Well, what he's saying is a blatant fucking lie, but I understand what this guy is saying, and what he said about poverty. Like, that's true, and that's honestly just common sense.
And made to manipulate to look like, oh yeah, that's why I said in
not at 12 times the rate.
In suburban neighborhoods, white people are not in danger, and that's what this kind of fear mongering tells them is that you're in danger because you're 12 times more likely to get killed by a black person. You live in fucking.
Thank you. You live in a fucking white ass neighborhood. You think? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me forget. I forgot. Charlie Kirk said prowling blacks are just out on the prowl and looking for white people to hunt and hurt and kill. I totally forgot about that. Totally forgot. You are in a fucking white neighborhood, bro. Niggas are not going to drive all the way over there to mess with you. No, that's not the case. Shout out to Scally again for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. That 3-strike rule thing was a lie. I looked it up. Of course it was a lie. Thank you.
Ain't nobody coming after you. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody tripping on you. But
yo, matter of fact, and you know what's even crazier though? If Matt Walsh, right? I keep saying Matt Walsh. God damn it, these people are all alike to me. I can't help it, chat. If Steven Crowder was to go to like Zone 6 in Atlanta, right? Nobody's gonna fuck with him. Nobody's gonna fuck with him because they're gonna think that he's the police. They're going to be like, what the fuck is he doing here? No one is going to mess with him. A lot of people are just going to leave him alone because if they rob him or if they do something, they probably know some trouble is going to follow behind it. So they're probably just going to leave him alone. Like, oh my God.
But these people are just as scared as the other folks.
They are if they get on a bus.
Not necessarily.
They are if they get on a train.
That lady wasn't in danger because that man was black. That lady was in danger because that man was crazy.
Thank you. That man. Like, what do you mean no? You cannot say no. You cannot say no without providing any facts. Like, you cannot say that situation was. You cannot say the Irina Zaruska situation was racially motivated. You absolutely have no fucking proof. Why are you saying that? You say it's turn up my volume? Yo, I can't. If I'm already in the red, bro. Do I need to turn down the desktop volume? Hold up, chat. Can you guys hear me well, or what's going on? I don't know why I've been having this problem a little more lately, but let me know in the chat. Put ones in the chat if you can hear me like clearly, or if you think I need to turn down the audio of the video. Okay, yeah, everybody else is saying that I'm fine. You sound fine. Okay. All right. Appreciate you. Look, JC, I've seen you say that quite a few times. I don't know what you listening, like where you're watching this stream from, but you just need to turn your shit up, bro. Like my shit is already loud.
And was mentally insane.
But why was he back in
family members? He had his own family members call the hospital to try to get him committed. He told his sister he killed that woman because he thought she was trying to read his mind.
Yep.
That's
why was he let out though? And I'm not saying it's because he's black. I'm saying people
just said that. He just said that. What the fuck? Why are they all gaslighters? Why do they all do this? I didn't say it was black. You literally just said that. You said it. You literally insinuated that it was racially motivated. What the fuck?
Look at it, though. The judge said
part of black fatigue.
He's insane, right? We agree.
That's not a black and white issue.
He was deemed not fit to stand trial, right?
Right.
Now
he should have been institutionalized.
Right.
Yes.
The IOU policy, meaning you don't have to pay bail. You don't even have to stay here until you're actually convicted. You just say you'll come back.
Right.
Okay, but this is not a race issue, bro. Matter of fact, if you want to keep it a buck, if you want to keep it an absolute buck, Steven, we know that the system usually leans towards people that look like you. So I don't know, but now you're saying the system is flawed. When a white woman dies, now the system is flawed, right? But when innocent black people get put on trial and go to jail for crimes that they didn't commit, then it's not a problem. The system worked. But now that an innocent white woman died, now the system is just fucked, right? And keep in mind, I agree with you. There is no way that this man, he should have been committed. Sure, he should have been locked up somewhere in the loony bin. I agree with you. I agree with you. But that's not a racial issue. Take that up with the system. We're having two different conversations here. What the fuck? What up, Logix? Logic said, bro, Crowder ain't come for a convo. He came for clips. Didn't I say that shit? I said that shit at the beginning of the goddamn video. Notice he's not really engaged with the convo. He just getting talking points off. You're right.
Which is messed up.
Yeah, the judge, Teresa Stokes, black woman, said, well, this is about racial justice. We need to be softer on crime. So that's her reasoning. That's why he was out. And you can find dozens of examples.
That's her misguided reasoning.
And that's policy.
But that's systemic, though, right?
That's not representative of a whole.
It's not. Thank you. Then what the fuck are you saying? What are you saying?
It's not, no, and look, we always have to say not all. Right. Like, not all white people wear MAGA hats and are dumbass pieces of racist shit. But we have all been accused of racism, sexism, misogyny, homophobia. What I'm saying is black fatigue is white people going, you know what? I know I'm not racist. And I know that we're dealing with record crime, and I know that I'm more at risk. And they have negative interactions, and they're constantly told that they're not allowed to voice their fucking opinion.
What the fuck is he talking about? You guys been able to voice your opinion for decades. What are you talking about? You just can't say you just shouldn't be able to say any bigoted, racist bullshit. What are you talking about? What the fuck are we talking about? And also, Logic is absolutely right. He is not engaging with the conversation at all. These are just talking points.
Because they're white. And if those people get pissed off, like that's where we actually could end up with some kind of, I'm telling you, I see this brewing. I see people who were milquetoast white suburban who are becoming actually racist. Now, not all of them, but I've seen people actually become racist because they get mugged, their store gets looted, and nothing gets done. They're going, and if I say something, it's turned into a racing. I'm telling you what, that's where it's coming from. At what point do we have a talk and go like, okay, let's reform justice, but we have to be honest as to why it was reformed in the first place. This guy, it's not even the only one. It's every 3 days someone's being offed.
Yeah, but at the same time,
1 in 3 days, somebody's getting offed. Sir, people die every day. What the fuck are you talking about? What is he talking? I'm going to be saying that a lot. Alejandro said, I'm about to snap. Yo, I'm already there. Like, I'm dead ass already there.
Let's transfer that over to, I mean, there's a lot of unsafe things in this world. Like, getting mugged by a black person is not the paramount unsafe thing.
It's not.
There's school shootings. There's
road
Why do we not? Thank you. Why do we not talk about school shootings enough? We really don't.
There's all of that shit.
Yep.
And the primary.
What's up, Moosey? Jesus Christ. Please change your name back. Why is your name Daddy It Hurts?
People that commit a lot of those are people who don't have this skin.
No.
So if switch it over, if black people say, well, we getting fed up and we tired of all these school shootings and all of these road rage and all that, who do we say something to?
Ooh,
who hears our voice?
Great fucking question. I love this. Great question. Let's hear the rebuttal.
And when does the white fatigue kick in?
And when does the white fatigue kick in?
Well, we've been hearing about white, that's the point, right? We've been hearing about it all our lives, about white fatigue, about systemic discrimination.
But nothing's ever been done. That's the problem.
It has been done.
Here.
That's why we've done systemic justice reform that has led to more crime, right?
He didn't answer the fucking question, bro. Oh, fuck. Yeah, this is it. You know what, Chantel? I agree. This is Oppression Olympics, and I cannot fucking stand it. This is going to be so tough to get through, guys.
That's the reason for no three-strike policy. That's the reason for cashless bail. That's the reason for catch and release. The reason for it, in the wake of Black Lives Matter, George Floyd riots, Summer of Love, was we're going to reform crime, we're going to reform the justice system, and it's gotten worse everywhere it's been. And then when white people leave those neighborhoods, well, now it's white flight.
Keep in mind, he hasn't given any valid examples as to how crime has gotten worse or how black on white crime has gotten worse. He just made up some statistics that were not true. Please, you need to give actual factual examples. How is it getting worse? He's literally just talking out of his ass. He's not.
They come in as gentrification. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who are pissed off, and they're not going to sit down and have this conversation and be real about it. And they're going, well, what happens when someone has to keep their mouth shut about everything?
Nobody tell you have to keep
That's
your
how they
mouth
feel.
shut.
That's how they feel. I don't believe white people have to keep their mouth shut. I think white people don't speak up about a lot of the things that they do and they perpetuate that affects us negatively. That's the stuff that nobody wants to. That the issues aren't made about those things. I really respect the platform that you have because you do have open and honest conversations. And I have to say, I don't believe that those numbers about the black people murdering white people are correct. I don't believe those numbers are correct.
What if they are? What if I'm not lying to you?
If you're not, then I've been misled and I've been isolated from realistic numbers. But I know in this country, from the time that we got here and until now, there's never been hordes of black people that just go out and maraud and menace white people. Now, interactions happen and things do occur. I'm not saying that they don't, but not by and large in number. We can't be this small a percentage of the overall population.
But commit the most crime. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. Okay, all right.
And still have the numbers that people try to perpetuate on to us. See, black people do more harm to other black people than we do to other white people.
Well, that's true.
Did he just say that's true? How can you say that's true, but then say black men are 12 times to commit, like, violent crimes against white people? That totally contradicts what you said before. How can he agree?
True. That's true.
Because
people who are close. That's true.
We also have historical evidence of groups of white people attacking and chasing black people.
So it's
coming after.
So when people
we have
say
historical
it's not
evidence
happening now. So when
I'm just saying,
and that's the.
A kid was lynched at an HBCU, and you are saying, but it's not happening now. That is actual horseshit. Sundown Town still exists to this day. There's no way that you honestly think that that's still not happening now.
Point is, we're at a precipice right now.
That's a part of the historical condition.
Well, sure, but someone today.
Hold on. I wasn't finished making my point. I wasn't finished making my point. You know, when
oh shit! Hey, happy birthday, Avis. My bad. Happy birthday.
Black fatigue, that's the newest mantra that's been put out into society to make people think that, okay, they tired of black people. They tired of what you said, that we can't say anything about black people. We can't do. Well, when you hold all the power, when you hold all the economic rights, when you hold all the things that make this country move, when you're in charge of those things, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know what? I put it like this. White people got the firecrackers, we got the stem. That's it. Y'all got the power. The power is placed outside of the black community. We're charged with all the negative things. Those are the things that are really generally coincide with how people relate to us. The bad stuff that's go wrong with this world is the black people's fault. We the smallest part of this country. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? Beside the immigrants that come here, we have been tasked with the negative, the criminal, the immoral. That's us, and that's what we consider. That's white fatigue. But you know what we do? We just say that's just how it's always been. So we don't make up words for it or terms for it. So now you have a frustrated group of white constituents that feel like, oh, we can't say anything. We have to do this. We have to do that so you don't be deemed as that. Well, if you wasn't that in the beginning to start with, there would be no need for the reform or the feelings that you have. You can't say anything about because you done treated us like shit for so long, and people finally stood up and said, hey, you got to stop treating us like shit. Now that you want to feel like, you know, things aren't going in the manner that you want them, now we want the right to keep saying those things.
What if your premise is completely flawed? And what I mean by that is, if we're trying to understand it, you said you have power in all those institutions.
Yes.
What if, for example, you have an entire generation of people, young white men, women, who if they apply to a college or apply to a job, they don't have a grant, there's no Pell Grant, there's no type of subsidy, there's no DEI initiative. As a matter of fact, they're likely to be passed over. They hold no institutional power. And when you say black people haven't done anything, when you think of this white person, a young white person, because I'm seeing some people become radicalized and it can become a problem. Yeah. And then they see billions of dollars and riots and damages all summer long, and then they go, why is this happening? Black Lives Matter, right?
Why the fuck are we acting like Black Lives Matter? Like, why are we acting like there's riots every year? Why are we acting like there are riots or every month? Like, why are we still using Black Lives Matter has not even been honestly like present, like not in the streets at least. I mean, I don't see a lot of like Black Lives Matter. I could be wrong, obviously, but I don't even see like a lot of Black Lives Matter like protests these days. Why are we still using this as an example? We are talking about the situation that surrounded around George Floyd, which is a different conversation entirely, because we all know that when it comes to police and how they treat black people, it is disproportionate to how they treat other races. So that was the main issue for the George Floyd situation. Like, why do we keep using Black Lives Matter as an example? They are not out here destroying cities every week. Stop it. Let's stop using this talking point. Stop.
So they're going to make that connection. Now, they have no institutional power, but if they go into a neighborhood that's largely black, they're going to get the shit kicked out of them. And they're being blamed for something that supposedly their racist forefather did that they have nothing to do with. You think we're ever going to have...
Do you really think black people, if a white person goes, and I already said this, if Matt Walsh went into the hood, he would be fine. No one is going to fucking bother him because they're probably going to think he's a cop or wonder why he's there in the first place. But do you really think if a white person went, or if a white person went anywhere near a black person, black people would just look at him, man, like, you white, man. Your ancestor oppressed mine. All right? You need to get your ass whooped. Bro, we not on that. We're not on that type of timing. What the fuck do you think about black people? Why do you think black people are just so animalistic and we cannot control like our anger and urges? And I'm not even saying that we have an urge to just hurt white people. At least I don't. I know all of the chat. Y'all not on that type of time either. What is going on? That's why I'm saying I don't look twice at a white person. I'd be like, oh, it's a white person. Cool, whatever. I don't have any hate in my heart. Nobody checking for y'all, man. You guys are such fucking narcissists.
This is the problem. Unity, if let's say your dad's a or your grandfather's a
Listen to what Nicole said. Hi, white girl that grew up in the hood. This shit ain't real. The black community is so fucking accepting. Exactly.
And you walk up and you slap his teenager, you now have made that person hate you for life. And that's what I'm seeing with not even my generation. Younger people are going, I had nothing to do with this shit. They came up during the riots. They've come up under DEI, and they're seeing a 12-time murder rate, skyrocketing crime, and any proposals they make not holding institutional power shut down as racist.
Now, why was DEI even instituted in the first place? Because for the majority of time that black people have been in this country and been free, we've been denied so much. Somebody somewhere had to put some things in place to provide access of some kind.
If you believe that, that's fine, but you can't tell that young white kid who had nothing to do with it that he should just sit down and take it, especially when they're getting...
I hope they have the conversation about what DEI is exactly, because a lot of people do not understand what DEI actually is. And I feel like I've had this conversation with you guys ad nauseum. Real quick. DEI is not in place to employ people that are inexperienced, right? Or even if you want to talk about colleges, DEI is not in place to give opportunities to people that are undeserving of it. That's not the case. If I have a let's just say I'm a hiring manager, right? And I have a white person that's extremely experienced, but I have a black person with the same amount of experience, just as qualified. They are equal when it comes to qualifications. If my company is already very white, I am going to look at the black person just so that I can have some fucking diversity within my organization. Stupid. That's what DEI is. It's just no longer overlooking qualified people of color. And keep in mind, DEI doesn't even just apply to people of color. DEI also apply to women. DEI also apply to veterans as well. Shit.
That's what America's been telling us for the longest.
The young white man that has to
Not
deal
in my
with the
lifetime.
DEI, the young person of this generation that you said that feels they're misled by the being mistreated by the DEI.
I'm just using it as an example. They don't hold any institutional power. Young white people don't. They don't have an advantage.
Not yet, because they're young white people. They haven't advanced to where they're middle-aged white people, where the power comes.
Also, what are you talking about? Shout out from downtown again for the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. White people hate an even playing field, right? So some white people. Anyway, I'm not gonna say all white people. I would never say that. Shit, I totally forgot my point. Hold on, let me go back.
DEI.
I'm just using it as an example. They don't hold any institutional power. Young.
Okay. Maybe he said they don't hold any institutional power. Wouldn't okay. I can maybe grant that to you, sure. But the thing is, if you are white, you already have a leg up in life. And I'm not saying this is institutional power. I'm just saying you already have a leg up. People are going to be more willing to hire you opposed to people of color, just because you are more than likely are going to look like the hiring manager. You understand what I'm saying? Depending on where you're working at, obviously.
White people don't. They don't have an advantage.
Not yet, because they're young white people. They haven't advanced to where they're middle-aged white people, where the power comes. See, what black people, once again.
Thank you, Daryl. White women are the most hired for DEI. Thank you.
When you got colleges that denied access to black people, you can't come here. Something had to be put in place. Well, look, y'all got to let some black people come here. Y'all can't just exclude
That started happening long before DEI.
But see, all DEI
It did. Long before black people were admitted into colleges. HBCUs.
Hold on, let me say what I'm trying to say.
My bad. I'm trying to make it clear.
He's trying to do a senior census and talk through you. So that,
well, because you trying to.
No, I get it.
DEI is just a new way of wrapping affirmative action.
Yeah.
I was about to say, are we? Are they? I'm gonna let him talk, because at first I was like, are they thinking that affirmative action and DEI are the same thing? But let me hear him.
Affirmative action had to be put in place because there was the access being denied. So the legislation had to be put in place. Well, look, we can't just exclude all of them. So somewhere along the line, they have to be allowed some access. Okay, that was put in place. Now, fast forward till now, those same things that were put in place for those people back in those generations that are still in place, they're not excluding people from getting to places they're just still trying to keep those doors open so that those black people that were coming through that door can still get in. Because if you remove those, over time, we will be denied the access again.
If a black person has lower SATs, right, and lower GPA, should he get in over an Asian or a white person?
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Where is that happening? Where is that happening? Please, that's not happening.
If all things are supposed to be laid out equal, no, you shouldn't get. If you don't have it,
that's what's happening.
What it takes to get in. No,
that is not what's happening. Where are you getting this information from? That is far from the truth.
That's not.
It is happening, and I'm telling you, young white dudes are pissed.
That's not the majority of what's happening.
It is happening.
No, they think it's happening because of people like you fear mongering and spreading this fucking bullshit, and they're believing you. That's not true. You're lying.
As it relates to DEI, first of all, DEI has been more beneficial. I'm a former commercial contractor, all right? DEI and affirmative action have benefited white people vastly more so than black people. All you gotta do is look at the business ownership or what have you, and you notice that as long as that white female happens to be 51%, then she qualifies as a minority and a double minority because she's white. She's among the minority in business.
And I am willing to bet money, because he said it. We already addressed this too. We already said white women, somebody in the chat pointed out too, white women benefit from DEI the most. We already said it, right? and he just said it to Crowder. How is he going to dodge this? He's either going to say you're wrong, or he's going to completely dodge this with a question. Let's see. Watch.
Ownership, and she happens to be a female, right? So you look at that based on population dynamics, and that automatically tells you this whole thing about this whole thing about DEI was, number one, not as much targeted towards blacks as much as it was targeted towards minorities, which includes that LGBT.
I agree.
Right? So when we talk about that, we need to really deal with the real problem. And as it relates to the riots, let me tell you something right now. Listen, in the black community, I'll be the first to acknowledge, we do have intractable problems that are not going to be solved in one conversation. But what I'm going to say about that, as well as the reason why the black community becomes so infuriated, all right, is when you see gross negligence of justice or misjustice happening and nobody does anything. When this guy
did he say like what?
Kneeled on this man's neck, we're going back to George Floyd. Look, if he had done something when he was subdued and on the ground, what was the real reason for kneeling on his neck except to inflict fatal harm? What was it?
I can tell you exactly what it was, and I can tell you why you're not recognizing the problem. Because the opinion polls, and I'm not saying right or wrong, the opinion polls have changed on George Floyd since I last spoke with you. You know why?
Who gives a fuck about opinion polls? What are you talking? There is right and there is wrong. Oh my gosh. What are you talking about? There was a literal autopsy done on this man. His knee was on his neck. His knee was on his neck. That's how he died. It wasn't fentanyl. It wasn't anything else. He died from that knee on his neck. Was there fentanyl in his system? Sure. But if I'm having a heart attack, while I'm driving and I'm driving 90 miles per hour and I collide with a big ass truck and the cars fucking explode on impact and I die from the impact, did I die from the car accident or did I die from the heart attack?
All the body cam footage came out. You know what? You know why? Because he was there for 12, 15 minutes, asked to be put in the car. They put him in the car, asked for air conditioning, gave him air conditioning, asked to be taken out of the car. They took him out of the car. He wouldn't stop moving. People have watched it now and go, you know what? It's not what.
So you put your knee on his neck?
What I thought it was. You know how many times he was arrested before that? 9. He shouldn't have been.
Who cares?
You know what would have saved him? 3-strike policy. He robbed a woman at gunpoint with a child in the house. And so white people look at it, young white people, right, who you have to understand during COVID, this is a whole generation of people. White people did not have any fucking opportunities during COVID. They didn't get to go to the graduation, college, black, white, all of them, right? It's a generation that's pissed. Rightfully so, they got screwed. I think we can agree on that. They're going, I watched my city burn down for a guy who was arrested 9 times and committed violent crimes against women.
Why are... Jail. You going to jail because you stupid. I haven't hit that button in a long damn time, but I am so frustrated. Why is it that people think that George Floyd is just some fucking saint? We're not saying it's not George Floyd. It's not even, we are not advocating that much for George Floyd. It's what happened to him. It's what's been happening to African Americans by the police for decades. The mistreatment. This has been happening for a long time. It's not George Floyd. We are not praising him. Why are we acting like we think George Floyd is some fucking angel or some saint? That's not the case. Police officer's knee should not have been on his neck, cutting off his air supply. That's it. That is it. Point blank, period.
What?
Now, you know, let me say
that's a travesty of justice. He shouldn't be out in public.
Let me say this to you.
How many felonies does President Trump have on his record? Yeah, he.
Ooh. Yes. Good question. Good fucking question. Yes. How many felonies? Is Crowder going to answer this? How many fucking felonies?
He was still allowed to occupy the most.
No.
Oh, no. None. None? Okay, so we're lying. So we're lying. We want to lie. Hold up. I need to go full screen for this, but for some reason it's not working. Give me a second. So we're lying, right? That's what we're doing here, right? God damn it, it's not working. Fuck it. I don't know why my camera isn't working on the main screen. So we're lying, right? All right, we lying. We want to lie. How many? Because I forgot the exact number. Does Donald Trump have felonies? 34 felonies. I knew I was gonna say 30, but I wanted the exact number. 34 felonies, and that is a fact. How the fuck are you going to say none? Please press him on that. Please press him on that. He doesn't have any felonies? Because that was a great point.
Criminal felonies.
He has no criminal felonies, but he's got moral felonies.
Moral felonies? Why didn't you press him? See, and this is, bruh, and see, this is exactly what I mean when I say these people are, and when I say these people that Crowder talks to specifically, a lot of these people are not properly equipped to have these conversations because he should have been pressed on that. Trump has 34 felonies. Shout out from downtown for the $2 super chat. Did we really expect that asshole to tell the truth? No.
Which would, if there was a court of justice for that, he probably would be tried a long time ago. I mean, let's talk about it.
Is this where we all get on board with crazy white bitches who accuse men of rape?
No,
like, I thought she accused 26 men of rape, that crazy broad.
Here's the reality, though. And when you look at the convergence of this new agenda where you're going strictly into blue cities, why is it that most of those blue cities also happen to be occupied, the areas they're going in are heavily occupied by minorities? Why is that so?
Well, because black people tend to vote Democrat, and they're run by Democrats. Detroit, you can look at it. You can look at Chicago. Is that what you mean?
I mean, no, that's not what I'm asking you at all. What I'm asking you is, like I said, with this all-out assault right now, just last night they were talking about something in Chicago, right? Where 1 o'clock in the morning, you had people in military gear, where have you, helicopters and all this kind of stuff like this here, not just knocking doors down, but dragging people out.
Because it's the murder capital of the country. You just said black people are more harmed by this. We don't want to take out murderers?
No.
Chicago isn't even the murder capital of the country. Hold up. I think that's actually wrong. Of the U.S. Let's see here. This is an older study. Shit. It's New Orleans, Memphis, St. Louis, Baltimore. Let me see. 2024 homicide rates. I really want to know. Bro, in 2024, it was St. Louis. So what the fuck are you talking? Shit, Richmond was number 7. God damn. I didn't know Richmond, Virginia was that. Damn. Yeah, that was just a lie.
No. I think really what truly was you're confusing what I'm trying to say to you.
Are you talking about the National Guard in Chicago?
No, what I'm trying to say to you is this, though. If we're going to talk about the problem, let's talk about the problem in its totality. The fact about it is, when you talk about white America being pissed, white America is going to always find a reason that doesn't fit their narrative or what have you. But what white America fails to talk about, and what never ceases to amaze me, is the fact that the biggest threat is not going to come from blacks. The biggest threat is coming from within. You look at the average person that's been committing some of the most heinous crimes over the days, it's 22 to 29-year-old white males, right? Look at how ready they were.
It's just not true, man.
That is
violent
true.
Crime, you just said, like you said, a small percentage of the country, about 12 to 13%, 50% of the violent crime, but the murder, a 12 times likelihood.
That's a skewed stat.
If you just, so you don't listen to them?
No, I said that particular stat is skewed.
It's not skewed. These are from the FBI, DOJ.
13,
And you know what else we look at? We look
very
at Roland Fryer from Harvard, who conducted it, black guy, black professor, really respectable guy.
honorable man, conducted a study, and he came out and he said, yeah, all of my research says that black men are 0% more likely to be shot by police officers than whites. Black people got so mad at him, he reconducted the study, a black man from Harvard, and he came to the same conclusion, and now he's not black enough.
Wait, so let me see if I understand you clearly.
Yeah.
You're saying, according to this guy's statistics, right, that black people are 0% less likely to be shot by a white police officer.
A liberal professor at Harvard, yes, and he conducted it twice. Because black people said what you're saying. He goes, look, I was
Is that what that study even said? Is that what that study even actually said? I don't know which study that he's referring to specifically, so I feel like I can't even really comment on it. But if it's the one that I'm thinking of, then he's lying here.
Surprises you. I was trying to find how much worse it is. My data showed me it's not. He reconducted the study an entire time. Now, he did come to the conclusion that an officer is 18 times more likely to be shot than a black man by an officer. This is a black liberal who studies statistics. At what point do you listen to him?
I feel like he is most definitely misrepresenting these statistics. 1,000%.
He may be a black liberal.
Once again,
and I don't believe
that's skewed too.
Institution, and if he comes out and says something of the sort, there's no telling the backlash that he may not get. Listen, there are token blacks in every society. I mean, all you have to do is look back throughout.
And there we go, right? And Uncle Tom, this guy, come on.
No, but here's my thing. Here's my thing, Steve. Right? I'm not alleging that the guy wasn't Uncle Tom, but let's be frankly honest. How many shootings have happened in most recent history that have involved black men that have been unarmed, and you sit here and use that analogy that black men are 0% times. Listen, as a totally blind individual, listen, I'm even apprehensive. There was an incident where the police stopped us, and it was my cousin and I. My cousin is a retired military vet or what have you, right? And immediately when we got out of the car, out of fear of possibly being shot, the first thing I did was raise my cane and say, officer, I said, listen, I am.
So I'm confused here because I found a Harvard study that says that black Americans are 3.23 times more likely than white Americans to be killed by police. And that was between 2013 and 2017. So, and that is coming straight from Harvard. So yeah, he has to be misrepresenting these fucking studies, these statistics, 1,000%.
Totally blind before we get out of hand with this, right? Now, I shouldn't have to react like that. But when you start looking at what's really happening in this country, many times because see, here's the deal. I don't care if you put on a uniform. You can't legislate the heart of a man and his intent, all right? And many times these officers do allow that badge to give them impunity to operate and exercise their racism. Let's be honest here, Steve.
Some of them do. By the way, I just find it funny that when I came up and shook your hand, you didn't tell me you were blind this whole time. I was like, I must have woke you up. You could have said, dude, I'm blind. I was like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. This whole thing. You just throw that out there like a cluster bomb. I'm like,
say you should have waved his cane when you came in.
I feel like an asshole in the middle of the room.
That's what I told you when you said, is he sleep behind the glasses? I was like, no, he just can't see you.
Hey, look, I thought you was making a joke. I said, oh my God, here's this condescending asshole here.
It's okay. He forget he blind sometimes.
I had no idea.
No, man, but you know,
yeah, but I do. I agree. You can't legislate what's in a man's heart.
Yeah.
But you can't throw out everything. You can't go, that scat skewed. That black guy from Harvard who was always a liberal who did it twice, it's skewed. You can't throw it out.
How often do you see black police killing unarmed white people?
That's a great question. He is going to fucking lie here. He's going to say, actually, it happens way more often than white cops, believe it or not. Watch.
Do you see that? How often do you see that?
Well, I tell you, actually, the stats show that when you're dealing with armed white people versus black armed people, white armed people are more likely to be shot by the cops than black.
Why is he just got on here. He just pulled up to lie. That's it. That's all he wanted to do. He just wanted to pull up to fucking lie. That's it. That is it. That's it. Oh my gosh. Wow. In other news, I just checked the score of the Dodgers game. We up 3-1, and it's the top of the 7th. Go Dodgers.
White armed people are more likely to kill police officers. Look at it.
I had to add some good news in there to lower my blood pressure. Jesus. Oh man! Shout out to Ronnie Thompson for the $20 super chat.
This is culturally inappropriate.
Jesus, thank you, man. He said that's a lie. Steven wants mediocre white men to be in positions of power. Absolutely, absolutely.
In Kansas, where those let's call the stats a wash on that. Here's what I do know. Everyone wanted the body cam footage, and I agree. I was like, we should have body cam footage. We should have accountability for police officers, right? And we were to believe after the era of, remember, we went through Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, obviously George Floyd. There were so many that you could use as examples. We thought that we'd have a rash of body cam footage showing us the police brutality. Yeah. You haven't seen body cam footage of note in the last year. Once that footage came out, it's about a 20-to-1 ratio where you see someone getting violent with an officer. We have not seen what we thought we would see. And now people are going, okay.
Didn't we just see an officer break a guy's window at a traffic stop and punch him in the face and drag him out? Just saying.
Okay, so maybe not the body cam footage, right? We thought we'd see all the abuse.
Wait a minute, before you jump off of that point, what about the body cam footage where we see white people and white police, and the white citizen is being belligerent with the police, but the police showing extreme restraint in dealing with that person. Whereas black people, we reach for your wallet, bow, you get shot. I got a phone in my hand, bow, you get shot.
And that's not.
I'm not doing anything. Bow, you get shot.
The stats don't reflect it. But white people.
But they do.
Are being killed in record numbers right now, and they're pissed. And if you keep just not listening to them, look, like you said, white people in the majority of this country, you have young white people who are getting more and more mad. I'm just telling you the truth.
What they mad?
Shout out to Scally for the $2 super chat. I'll pay $100 if he shows them one fact. I'm not getting that $100 because he's not showing them that fact. He's not showing them any type of facts.
And they have the guns. They're mad because this thing. Here's why. They go, look, I'm 12 times more likely to be killed by a black
He keeps saying that when it's not true. I have Crowder fatigue as well.
Person than you are a white person. And you go, well, that doesn't count. They go, look, my dad's business got burned down.
Yeah. And where?
My city got burned down. I've been accused of being a racist, even though I'm not. And I'm looking at this right now, and I'm not allowed to have an opinion. And I can't go into certain neighborhoods because I get my ass kicked.
Why are we acting like so many people's businesses got burned down? Okay, every white person that you see on the street, you think a black person burned down their business? You think they have a business to burn down in the first place? Why do we keep adding that in there?
My city got burned down. I've been accused of being a racist, even though I'm not. And I'm looking at the
logics. All this shit is a lie. He hasn't told one truth yet. All of this is just him being super disingenuous.
Right now, and I'm not allowed to have an opinion, and I can't go into certain neighborhoods because I get my ass kicked, and then you just say, yeah, but you've had systemic power. That is a surefire way to breed racism.
Let's be frank about that, Steve. Now, first of all, here's why I disagree with you emphatically, right? Number one, when it is historically proven when there are riots, and this is the crazy part, most times we as blacks, we tend to riot in our own neighborhood for the same reason why we're not 12 times likely to kill a white person, because of that fact that the penalty is going to be much harsh, okay? If black people were really the kind of threat and menace to white people as we're going to sit here and say that they are, never mind the stats, there's no way in the world that most of us would still be here, because guess what? You guys will find a way to deal with the problem if it is from a multiplicity of angles, all right? So, like I say, when I'm saying this right now, when it comes to stats, who controls that narrative, Steve?
We did deal with it. You know what we dealt with it in liberals in blue cities? Cashless bail, catch and release. We did everything that was demanded. Defunded the police in certain neighborhoods. Guess
what?
No
blacks have asked for defunding the police.
Oh, yeah.
Where, and I could be wrong, in what cities, in what, Logics, help me out with this, in what cities, in what states have the police actually have been defunded? Where has that happened? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. But when did that happen? And in what state?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, yeah, they have.
Well, here's the deal.
Now, I will say it's mostly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's mostly black women. It's mostly black activist women, and they're not representative of black men. I get that.
Just like the guy who killed the lady on the bus that you were talking about earlier, right?
Okay, like I fucking thought, it didn't really happen. Thank you.
Doesn't represent Black America and what he did. I mean, listen.
Here's where he does. Just listen to me here. Here's where he does. Here's where he does to a lot of people. And this is what I'm just trying to, because last time I sat and listened, but I want you to hear something really important. Here's where he does. Young white, that person's parents, that person's relatives, look at it and go, wait a second. This guy was out 14 times, and the reason he was out 14 times was because a black female judge, in the name of restorative justice, who has received funding from NGOs, said, we're going to have cashless bail and catch and release and the IOU policy in the name of racial justice. So people are going, my daughter's dead because it would have been racist to keep this guy in jail. You need to understand that, right? You understand it, though, right? Because you just made those same judgments about people who existed 150 years ago.
Yeah. But
this is someone's sister.
Her flawed judgment does not represent the opinion of black people, number one.
It represents a systemic correction.
Well, let's talk about systemic correction. And you know what the problem really is? When you defund our opportunities to provide adequate psychiatric institutionalization for those kind of people, that wouldn't have happened. Because let me tell you something, even as a black person, as a judge, if you come before me 11 times with all of the information that you provided me with, you know what, before I release you, you know what, I'm going to have you committed to an institution because number one, the greater good is for me to preserve public integrity, and that's on both sides of the spectrum. I don't give a damn if you're black or white.
Why do you think they're not committing him to an institution?
Because there's no funding available.
No, they were shut down in the name of restorative racial justice.
And his family,
that's why he wasn't institutionalized.
And his family
he should have been in prison
too. His family pushed against it in certain like there's some of them cases where they were in court. His family was saying, don't put him in there.
I know, and who gives a
But I'm just saying, that's part of it. But when you only include the part that says the judge, you're not giving the whole story. And that's what media ends up doing, that creates these tensions in people. They straw man conversations and only tell part of it.
No, it's not as strong. The tension is there. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The tension is already there. White people are afraid to go in black neighborhoods because
so should black people be afraid to go to school because a white person go come shoot the school up?
Good question.
Every time we
please respond to this, please.
Not even close.
That's what keeps happening.
It's not even close.
But now you're going to ignore
Single-digit numbers? Single-digit numbers. Is that what he just said?
You're going to ignore
that. I'm scared to go to church.
You're scared to go to church, but you're sitting in the barbershop with almost 12 black men. Come on, Steve. Now, let's be realistic.
Who do you think's more at risk sitting down right here?
Exactly. He know he's not in danger around us.
I'm much more at risk.
We don't do that.
And here's the irony.
You know, I just watched my friend die, right?
Steve, let me say this. What the fuck?
Oh, my God. He said, you know, I just watched my friend die, right? Your friend wasn't killed by a fucking black person, you moron. You fucking asshat. Your friend was killed by a white boy. Somebody that looked like you. Could be your fucking nephew. What the fuck are you talking? That would make sense if somebody black shot and killed Charlie Kirk. But that's not what happened. Wow.
You know what bothers me about white people, and this is kind of
everything.
No, not everything. Not everything.
But we smell like wet dog or some. I've heard all this stuff.
Let me tell you what bothers me about white people. Let's be honest here, because I work with a lot of white people, so I have nothing against them at all. Let me be honest with you. But the problem the biggest problem that I have is that you constantly get bombarded with the excuses. All right, when you really come down to it,
I hate that they're letting him get away with certain shit that he said. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Let's be honest, man, and let's be really truthful with one another. Ask yourself, what do you expect when you look at architectural oppression, economic depravity, and social disparity? What would you...
That's not where I wanted this to go. That's really where I did not want it. Oh, my God. I want them to push harder, but it's so much that they missed, man.
Call it. I mean,
bad decisions.
Huh?
Bad decisions.
Bad decisions.
Yeah, I think right now in 2025, it's bad decisions. I think everyone can make better decisions.
And you know what? I'll even go here with you. In all fairness, I think that's absolutely true. So my question for you is, how do we move past this?
Yeah. Okay.
How do we move past
I agree with you. I agree. And I think maybe we'll find some common ground here. If we agree there is personal accountability and bad decisions, and I think we also all agree that feminist white are the worst demographic in the country, along.
I can't do this.
With lesbians.
There's a great book that says that they were her property. See, that's what I'm saying.
Like, I'm telling you, like, believe me, I don't have a. Hold on. Let me just clarify, and I mean that. Angry white feminist bitches and lesbians, because if they didn't vote, we wouldn't have half of the shit. But, and this is one thing I appreciate about black men, that white men are so. Black men can talk about these things, and black men are okay being masculine. White men are told it's sexist. There's a lot there. Personal accountability decisions. Now, just take that and apply it. What you kind of just did here is you blamed white people, without realizing it, for systemic discrimination, and that removes autonomy from a white person to be accountable and also rewarded for their good decisions. So if we agree it's bad decisions, personal accountability, we'd all be against reparations, and we'd all be against the criminal justice reform.
I'm definitely for reparations.
I'm for reparations.
So
see, that to me, you said excuse.
Yeah.
That sounds like an excuse to me.
You ain't paid me back. You ain't paid me for what you owe me.
What did I take from you?
You can't start another bill
What did I take from
until
you?
you pay this old bill.
What did I?
And I am somebody that I hate the reparations talk. I hate it. I hate it. At this point, we are not going. Black people, the black community, we are not going to get reparations. Okay, we're not. I am so sick of it because I know it's not gonna happen. And honestly, it's just there's no point anymore, man. There's no point. I hate it, and I don't care. I don't care enough. I really don't care. I really don't. Shout out to Rodney for the $5 super chat. Stephen will never have this conversation with Mark Lamont Hill of intelligence. Fuck no, absolutely not. Random question: would you debate him on this BS? So here's the thing, Scally. I don't mind debating. I don't mind debating if I had to. If Steven Crowder came to me and was like, hey, I want to debate you, I would be stupid to say no. I'd be dumb to say no. That's going to garner me a lot of attention. But I really don't want to. I really don't want to. Like, this is not fun for me. Like, debating isn't fun. I can do it, but it's not fun.
Take from you.
You didn't take but your ancestors.
But you just said you.
When I say you, I meant it as a euphemism.
But can you understand why white people hear it and get pissed off?
Yeah.
Because I can take shit.
But they're not mad about the advantages that were built into their lives.
So you want young people to pay? It sounds like an excuse.
And even without paying us back, Steve, know what my thoughts are on this here. Give us an opportunity to exercise our ability and our autonomy. Let me give you a perfect example. There's a gal right now, her name is Joy Reid. Look up her.
Oh, I know Joy Reid.
Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, and they think so low of Joy Reid. They hate Joy Reid. And he just brought her up. Oh, let's see what he said.
Look up her educational background. You don't think Harvard gave her a degree just because she was a black person?
Ooh, that's a fantastic question. And he's going to say, yes, they did.
About DEI, do you?
I think she's an idiot.
Okay, so...
but not because she's black, because she's an idiot.
Okay, so you're entitled to that.
I think Van Jones is smart, and I disagree with him. Joy Reid has said things that are so verifiably untrue, it's insane.
Okay, so but you know, as a man, I'm going.
Kettle, pot, kettle. Okay.
I'm going to indulge you and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to indulge you. I'm going to respect your opinion, your frame of thought on that, right? I beg to differ tremendously, but nevertheless, though, that's why we're having this open discussion. But let's really talk about where we need to go from here on, and that is the fact that black people have every sense of entitlement as it relates to having reparations, and I'm going to tell you why, right? Because
reparations talk is not going to fucking go anywhere, bro. Because when you have this conversation, with somebody that is white, they are literally just going to say, "You guys want to be oppressed so bad. You want to constantly be a community that is constantly oppressed. You want to be paid for it. Blah blah blah." Like you always want to be the victims. That's always going to be the rebuttal. This conversation is so stupid to have. I do not want to have this conversation anymore.
Nobody has ever been as more loyal to white people despite the treatment than black people have, right? Nobody. You show me one race. You know what? They make options and opportunities available when other ethnicities come here or what have you that we will never get a chance to have, right? And then they turn around and tell us, stop asking about reparations. Whenever we want to ask for equality and fairness, it's a problem. So white America.
So it's been several $1 trillion. When is it enough?
Wait, spend $7 trillion on what? What did they spend it on?
Let's go back to Lyndon Johnson model.
Lyndon Johnson, you're talking about the war on poverty? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
1965?
Why was that done?
All right, but here's the deal.
What about the Department of Education?
Here's the deal. So now you're saying the Department of Education. Let's go back to the Department of Education.
Okay, so my point is, these were. Hold on. No, I didn't answer your question.
All right.
The reason that this was given, right, when you're talking about the Great Society program, the reason when you look at the Model Cities program, urban planning, $8 billion into Detroit, adjusted for inflation, the reason that, and I don't know if you know this, black students in this country get more spending per pupil than white students. I don't know if you know that. That's an actual fact. Even in impoverished neighborhoods through public funding. These were the reparations that were asked of white people throughout each decade, given, and then we're told, no, that's not the real one. They were given, whether you like them or not, whether you think they work or not. And by the way, I think they're dog shit. I think we should completely suspend the federal Department of Education. I think the Texas state could do a much better job. But those were done in the name of racial reparations because they were demanded. And now,
Logix, are you busy right now? Are you busy? After this conversation, I think I want to have a quick conversation with you, bro. This shit is giving me a headache.
No, it's not enough.
But you say that, but Steve, listen.
But what was that?
Say we should suspend the Department of
I agree with you, because it's so. Why would they do it correctly?
It's not just because it was done in the name of racial justice that it was done incorrectly.
That's the reason for it.
I'm saying that's the reason for it. But along the way of trying to achieve racial justice, you just did it wrong.
But let me ask you.
That's my point.
You said
people did it the way we were asked.
Your reasoning was right. Your approach was wrong.
So now you make some 20-year-old kid pay?
No, but you came out and said something You said that you're against the Department of Education, right? Let me tell you
Federal
something.
Department.
Yeah, Federal Department of Education. Let me tell you something that has come up in a lot of circles that I'm always talking about as a person with a disability. The Department of Education does a lot more in terms of, even with the enforcement of Section 504, right? 504 says that you must have accommodations for individuals with disabilities, right? Perfect example of when you walked in or someone just walked in, did you hear what that thing said? Right, left. Go down to Austin. Let me tell you something. When you suspend the Department of Education, you're also telling the remain 36 million people in this country who have disabilities, you know what? Screw you. Figure it out. We don't have to do anything, okay? And this is another reason, going back to what we said with the Black America. If you don't have certain mechanisms in place to ensure that there is a fair and level playing field, right? Guess what? The controlling party that's in power, or what have you, are not going to say, hey, wait a minute, let's look at this other disenfranchised segment of the community or what have you, and see how can we provide
I'll disabuse you of that notion. Okay, let me disabuse you of that notion.
Go ahead.
Over $3 trillion adjusted for inflation, right? The Department of Education, early 70s. Okay, before that, they were run by states. Over $3 trillion. What are math scores? What are literacy scores now? In both?
Depends on what part of the country you're asking that about.
Across the board. Across the board.
You can't go there because I'm going to tell you why you can't go there.
Hold on. I'll answer the question. Because then I'll show you an example of something that actually works, because we need solutions. They're across the board down. In other words, $3 trillion, test scores are worse. And they're even worse in poor areas where there's more spending. Do you know where black students in New York City actually do really well? White Catholic schools, where they have more students per teacher, on average 35 plus.
Okay, but if you go into red cities, red states, those numbers are even lower. This is a stupid talking point.
other words, they have fewer teachers. It's done privately. Charter schools, school choice is something I support. That means for everyone in this country. Can't do it because it's racist.
Let's look at the academia, though. Okay,
that's why it's being fought.
When you start talking about that, what have you? When you talk about test scores, we can go just north versus south, or what have you. Let's look at the quality of education that's in these schools, or what have you. Are you going to tell me that it's a standardized academic agenda that's promoted throughout this country, or is it the fact that some people have a different education level than black? Listen, I work with people.
They're bad across the board.
I work with people every day that are out the north.
No. So he keeps saying, okay. So basically what's going on here is this gentleman is saying, so let's look at North versus South. Crowder is like, oh no, they're all bad. One is worse than the other. And I can tell you guys, in red states, test scores are significantly worse than those in blue states. Now ask yourself why.
That have far excelled in
that's absolutely true.
Tests than we have in the
bad
South.
and worse. There's no good.
Right.
There's no good. There's in here. And what I'm saying is, here's something where we could find common. I've proposed this, many people have, where we go, look, instead of giving money to a school, like you say, some of these schools suck, right? Instead of just putting, let's say the average spending is $15,000 per student. That's a rounded number. It's anywhere from 13 to 50, okay? If instead of putting that money in the administrative costs at a school, what you do is you say, okay, that's a grant, that's a voucher that attaches to the student, and they can take it to any school they want, so they have to compete. So that kid can now choose where they go to school. Can't do it because it's racist. That's why it's been fought. People say black kids would still be stuck in shit schools than white kids.
Why?
Well, see, that comes back
because they wouldn't be able to transport themselves out of a bad neighborhood.
Okay, so
but right now they're stuck with one school.
So when you start asking those whys and go down the rabbit hole of why and start asking, okay, well, why would somebody say that? Well, this is why.
Well, I'll tell you why they really say it. Because of teachers unions.
Because of teachers unions?
Yeah. It doesn't make. In other words, if a black kid right now has to go to
because
one.
in certain communities where they don't have certain resources, it's a lot of kids. Once again, I've lived in. I've raised my kids, graduated 3 kids from. I've been afforded some things in this community that some people down south don't have.
Yeah,
right.
That's a fact.
And some of these school events, I'm questioning them like, how the hell y'all expect us to have jobs and still transport these kids to and from these events all throughout the day? But if them people down there had to do it,
so you think what we're doing now is better?
Because they ain't got transportation. Half of them ain't got transportation.
I think we need to go back to the real truth and the real truth.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because they're in impoverished areas, and we already know, based on how we see.
So then, how do we fix it? We have to pay for a car,
don't even have
a house?
grocery stores.
No, of course not.
Those same areas
that's
don't.
horseshit.
There's food
I see
deserts.
everyone
Come
here.
on now, you don't know
Everyone here
about
has a
food deserts.
smartphone. You can literally order any food that's ever existed on Earth to any
But
municipality cheaper than ever.
If you're in an area that already has a lack of resources and you're already low income, how you gonna order something?
Right.
Amazon, one click.
But see, here's the deal.
We're talking about food deserts in 2025. Come on.
I think there's a broader problem there.
This conversation, oh my God. Okay. We're almost done, guys. We are in the home fucking stretch. We're almost done. But I officially have a headache.
We're not discussing. You know what that is? You've got to go all the way back. This has been an insidious process that's been at work. And the bad part about it is, as long as we as white and black America keep fighting among each other, we'll never see the big picture. You go back to 1982 under Charlotte T. Eisenberg, who was the Department of Secretary under Ronald Reagan, Department of Education. She wrote a good expose many, many years later called The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. She kind of patterned that after that B.F. Skinnerian behavioral modification. And it ties all into the founder before the Department of Education, which was General Education Board, where they say, you know what, we don't need more painters, we don't need more artists, or we don't need more poets. We just want good cogs in a wheel that are easily taught, that we can mold under our own hand. That mantra still holds true today. So you got to look at that. You got to look at where we come from. We come from a nation that was industrious and coupled with innovation. To now, everybody tends to do things like you say with your smartphone. You know why? Because pictures keep you from looking at things contextually. All right. So when you think about this educational system, you got to go back to what changed in this educational system and why we're where we are. Because you can't just say, yeah, but you can't.
I will say this blind gentleman, he is very knowledgeable, but see, this is why I hate these type of conversations and these types of videos, because you can have all the knowledge in the world, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to debate. And this is why I kind of started to shut down, because there were a lot of points that could have been made, that should have been made against Crowder, but they just totally fucking missed it, man. God, but he is cooking though.
I just simply said that everybody wants to be dumb, or everybody in the South.
I didn't say everybody wants to be dumb.
Okay, well, tell you this too. Here's another problem why scores are so much lower in this country, especially when you talk about black America.
Because money doesn't fix a problem. It's that
money doesn't.
We've thrown money at the problem, and it doesn't do shit.
Solve the problem at the core root of it and start reforming the real academia, all right?
Money doesn't fix problems in terms of test scores. But okay, so you dismantled the Department of Education. Do you really think that's going to be beneficial? How is that beneficial? Please. And let's say after President Trump has gone, do you think test scores are going to get better, remain the same, or get worse? They're going to get worse more than likely.
That's where you saw so you know what you tell people? We're going to operate in a system of meritocracy. God damn it, you will eat what you kill. If you're giving you $50,000 to go to school and you decide that you don't want to, or you fail to adhere to what's being presented before you, then shame on you.
I agree. You do away with DEI, you do away with the sex affirmative action, do away with all of it. Eat what you kill.
Do away with DEI, but make it fair across the board.
But that's what I'm saying.
I agree.
If you're going to do away with DEI, if you're going to do it,
DEI is fucking fair across the board. And this is exactly what I mean about having debates and conversations. Because if you are going to have this conversation, everybody needs to know what DEI actually is. And we have not even discussed that within this video.
With DEI, you got to make sure that the merits are properly being counted. Because the reason why DEI was invented, reason why affirmative action was invented, is because you'd have two qualified candidates, same qualifications, but one would get in strictly because his name was Johnny and the other one's name was Jamal. Well, we're gonna take Johnny, because naturally Johnny's gonna be better at it, but they got the same qualifications. That's why affirmative action was instituted in the first place.
DEI.
I feel like they are fucking conflating the two, which is why I hate this, man. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
And now when we hear
shrinking white feminists wanted to claim credit.
That's a snapshot you can present it in, but
I agree with you. I agree.
That's a snapshot you can present it in, but I'm just saying, like, the reason why.
No, what I'm saying is,
you go down to ask why.
I'm being flippant, but the truth is, black people were being admitted in record numbers if they had the same qualifications before DEI and affirmative action. White shrieking feminists wanted to take credit for something that was already happening because people had become less racist, so they can say, tag my white name on there, DEI. See what I did for black people? It's white guilt. And what I'm trying to tell you is, young people who have nothing to do with any of this, their guilt is running out, and you can't escape the violent murder rate. You can't escape them losing opportunities and being blamed for being racist when they're not. And you want those kids to pay reparations? You're creating a generation of racists. That's what's going to happen. And
then you're going to have a...
We're not creating DEI.
Then you're going to have...
We as a black community, we're not creating a generation of racists. You know who's creating that generation of racists? Those older white people are feeding that into their kids. See, all white people are not racist. I don't believe that.
No, of course not.
But the ones that come from families that have that inherent gene or trait in them, they're passing that on.
How?
See, I look at this, the gentleman that got killed, Charlie. He was killed by a white man, a young white man, right? From the generation that you're talking about that's getting fed up.
Well, he was also banging
Stop it. That's fucking irrelevant. That is fucking irrelevant. That makes no difference.
His dad had one ideology. He followed another ideology. That's out the same household. He didn't come from nowhere black. He wasn't hanging around with no bunch of black people.
I know, I agree. I'm not saying
that mindset. His daddy put whatever was in the...
But you earlier, you just tried to say you were at more risk because you were white in a room full of black people when they acknowledged that they weren't going to hurt you, which is, I'm surprised that he even fucking said that. He had balls of saying that. And he was like, do you not realize my friend was just killed? The person that killed Charlie was not black.
His dad either put that into him or his rebellion from his father caused him to think like that. That we're not creating that. Black people
that has nothing to do with them. I agree with you.
You ever seen over in Africa, you see an elephant with a bird riding on his back. That elephant ain't worried about that bird because that bird not stopping him from doing the thing he want to do. Where's the bird?
No.
Where's the bird?
That's actually a funny fucking comparison.
You're not stopping white Americans from doing anything.
You know what? The
they wanna
bird just
do.
burned down $4 billion worth of
Nah,
cities
the
and
bird ain't burned down,
60,000
no.
assaults.
No.
And what young white kids? No, hold on. You got to listen.
might get blamed for it.
Right.
The bird is half as big as the elephant.
Steve, you act like it's only blacks that was burning it down.
What about the Black Wall Street?
You know what I said earlier, and you listen to this, is when you have young white person going, okay, why is this happening? And people go, Black Lives Matter. And they go, well, hold on a second. I have an opinion on Black Lives Matter. They go, well, sit down, shut up. Okay, now silence is violence. And that kid goes, well, what do I do? By the way, you're on the hook for reparations, even though his father, his grandfather, his great...
To be fair, I feel like most black people are not most black people. I feel like this may be an older generation thing within the black community, but I feel like the black community, that's the people within the black community, like around my age group, I feel like we don't even talk about reparations. We really don't.
Great-grandfather didn't own a slave, and he's still 12 times more likely to be killed by a black person the other way around. You're going to...
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold up. Golly. I gotta. Okay, so for the sake of speed, I just asked ChatGPT. I said, are white people 12 times more likely to get killed by a black person? The answer is no. Hold on. Let me hide this really quick. Let me just show you guys this. No, there is no credible evidence that white people are 12 times more likely to get killed by a black person in the United States. That claim is not supported by reliable data, and it misrepresents how homicide and violent crime statistics work. Here's what the data actually shows. It says, in the FBI's expanded homicide data for white victims in a given year, the number of those whose offender was black is only a portion of the total. For example, in 2019, there were 3,299 white homicide victims whose offender was black or African American. The homicide victimization rate for black Americans is substantially higher than for white Americans in 2023. The rate for black persons was about 21.300 excuse me, 100,000 compared to 3.2 per 100,000 for white persons. Most violent crimes, including homicides, are intraracial, like I've been saying this entire fucking time. Shout out to Jarrett Gilliam. Appreciate you for the $5 super chat, man. Thank you so much. If Crowder genuinely cared about debate and common ground, he'd be out of a job since he's not talented or smart enough to make it in entertainment. Wholeheartedly agree. Like, this is, again, most violent crimes, including homicides, are intraracial, i.e. involving victims and offenders of the same race. For example, in one study, about 77% of whites reporting victimization said the offender was white. About 17.1% said the offender was black. Recent fact checks have debunked social media claims that 81% of white murder victims are killed by black people, showing that those claims misuse or distort government data. Why the 12 times more likely claim is flawed. The claim ignores population size and base rates. Because white people make up a larger share of the population, simply counting absolute numbers of victims or offenders doesn't translate into risk multipliers. And we already talked about that earlier in this video. They even said it in the barbershop. Okay? We are literally, black people are the minority. We do not make up that much of the population. So how the fuck are we 12 times more likely to commit crimes against white people? That doesn't make any sense. It misrepresents or overstates the portion of intraracial homicide, even in years when many white victims had black offenders. That doesn't show a 12 times multiplier. It ignores the fact that homicide is intraracial, white on white, black on black, case motherfucking closed. Shut up. Stop lying. He's been lying this entire time. Shut up. Fuck. Oh my gosh.
I'm saying is society is going to create a generation of racists. What do you say to that young white kid? What do you say to him?
Stop watching, stay off of TikTok.
Stop reading stats.
Stop paying attention to what these talking heads are saying because
it is social media.
Leading you down the wrong path. They're leading you down a path of paranoia and conspiracy theories.
What if their interactions with black people in general are quite negative?
Holy shit.
Well, we're in it now, and we're going to continue next Thursday, October 16th, on the next installment of Black and White on the Gray Issues.
Do you realize that you could take all the white people in this country, and if you're going to add up everyone where you could actually trace the lineage to slave owners or had any involvement, you would end up with maybe 2 or 3%? You shouldn't be getting anything. And Charlie Kirk shouldn't be shot.
So my question is,
well, how is this? What is it? How is this relevant? So here's something that's important, right? Because Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Let's be clear about this, and we're both agreeing because people believed a lie.
Somebody got to get them two potatoes out the ground. Somebody got to do that. White people not going to do that.
Of course we will.
Once again, when the work got hard, that's when they went and got slaves.
Yeah, white people don't know hard work. Can I ask you something real talk? While we're having real talk, why do young black men fight in packs?
Chat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot he totally said that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I can get through the. Yeah, he posted part 2. I don't think I can sit through an hour and 15 minutes of this. I genuinely do not think so. Okay, everybody's saying they good on part 2. Oh my gosh, I can't. I cannot do part 2. Like my heart can't take it, yo. My heart can't take it. However, while I was streaming, I did see something interesting. Apparently, so you guys know how Stephen A. Smith has been like very, Stephen A. Smith has been on his trash panda phase, right? Apparently he stormed off the stage after talking about the government shutdown. I just really wanted to look at this clip.
Kind of stuff while a young man walked up to the microphone and said that he had to leave here to go and work on DoorDash to help pay for his daughter's tuition. Meanwhile, everybody up here getting paid. But he ain't. This is this kind of stuff right here. That's how you know, and I'm not accusing any of you directly or personally of feeling this way. I'm just talking about the apparatus that is Washington, the nation's capital. This is why you have so many Americans, excuse my language, so pissed off at Washington, because somehow, some way, you get to have these conversations, engage in specific elements of it to talk about what we need to do to get things better. Our debt is $37.8 trillion. Somehow, some way, the taxpayer's been paying this, been throwing money, because we all look at our check, and it's been going to the government. And somehow, some way, you're supposed to be doing something constructive and productive enough.
We're getting rid of the goddamn illegals. Yeah! We're getting rid of them, the goddamn brown people. That's what we're doing with our money. We're giving more money to ICE to get these goddamn illegals out of this country. Huh? Yeah!
To make sure that we don't have that kind of deficit. It isn't happening. A government shutdown is going on right now. A man has to work on DoorDash when he's really an air traffic controller that we applauded, and we're up here talking about how much some money is going to cost, and the only person that don't have a check coming is him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a break.
All right. We'll go to the audience.
Huh. Interesting. I will say, little performative, but I do understand the anger. But my thing is, I don't think Stephen A. Smith, I don't think his anger is being directed properly. Hold on. There we go. So, let me see. Chat, this is the fun stuff that you have to do when you stream, right? This is what you have to do. So, the Republican Party controls the presidency, they control the House, they control the Senate. But somehow this is a goddamn Democrat government shutdown. But let me not get too deep. Let me not get too deep because we've been talking about politics this entire night for the most part. I could argue it was more cultural than anything, but yeah, man. Whew. All right. I promise you, next stream is going to be way more lighthearted, guys. Way more lighthearted. And next video that I'm gonna upload, I have to repost some of the Crowder bullshit. I have to. I apologize, but one of the next videos that I'm gonna be posting is Kim Kardashian. Actually, I wonder if we should just react to that now because Kim Kardashian came onto a podcast. I think what's the name of that podcast? Hold on. I might do that now just to get it over with. Let's see here.
Back and
Whoops. What was it? Call Her Daddy?
when he said,
Yeah, it was the Call Her Daddy podcast. I lied. I'm going to make a video on this instead. So Kim Kardashian was on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and she was talking about Kanye, and people got pissed off at her for whatever reason because she said co-parenting with Kanye is difficult. Yeah, no shit. Kanye's actually batshit crazy. Kanye is batshit crazy. Of course it's hard. Of course it's hard. But people were like, "Oh man, she's talking shit about her baby daddy. She talking shit about Ye. He a genius." So that video is actually going to be very interesting. I'm going to post that on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, I have a lot to say when it comes to Kim K. Hold on, why's my? Oh, she said my sound is in and out. That's because I keep moving. Like if I do this and I do that, yeah, my sound is going to be a little bit lower. Hold on. Oh, and that's probably another reason. But yeah, I keep moving in and out. The crazy thing is, if the shutdown didn't happen and that same dude or another lost their healthcare and had to do the same thing, he still complained. 1000%. But anyway, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for riding that out with me. That shit was rough. I'm okay on Crowder for quite a while. I'm actually tired of him. I did a deep dive on Crowder like a week ago, and yeah, I'm okay. I actually do not want to watch part 2 at all. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. I will see you guys later. I will probably repost parts of this VOD. And yeah, see you guys later. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you guys subscribe. I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers soon. I said by the end of the year, but honestly, I'm so close, man. Like right now, I'm at 18,974 subscribers, guys. Subscribe. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm out. Peace.